Practicing, that dread word. Why do we practice anyway? We practice in order to do stuff better that's difficult for us to do. But difficult, what does that mean? I would like you to consider two different types of difficulty. One would be passages of music that are literally, physically hard to play. They have like huge stretches of the hand, or they have huge chords to play, or lots of shifting of positions, those sorts of things. That's one kind of difficulty. And to demonstrate that, Gail Schroeder is going to perform a short segment of a piece by Murray to demonstrate that kind.
This is a passage from Murray's Fête Champêtre. This passage has really awkward shifts and chords.
But more often, you goof up in places where you can actually play the notes just fine, as long as you play them slowly, or maybe even one at a time. Here the difficulty is not so much being able to play the notes, as it is remembering what to do, remembering which finger to use, or remembering which position to use, or remembering whether you are going to take an up bow or a down bow. The practice technique I describe here does not address the first kind of problem, but offers a way of thinking about the second one. It's something I call micro-memory. Let's start by looking at a familiar piece of music, Coprario's Fantasia No. 5 in 4 parts. Gail has read through the bass part and found places that don't fall under the hand automatically. Here's how she begins to solve those problems.
This is Fantasy No. 5 from Coprario, and there were several difficult parts in the bass line, but I've isolated measures 45 through 47 to practice for you. I see my bow just came out backwards, so I'm going to try that again, starting with a push bow. And I like the way that came out a lot better. And now I'm going to deal with the ringing notes that maybe aren't quite as sounding the way I would like them to sound. So I'm going to try a 4th finger D instead. I think that sounds cleaner, so I'm going to use my 4th finger for the Ds. Here I had a problem with going from my G to my C. I barred with my 2nd finger, and I think it might be better to use the lute position for that. So I'm going to try it again with the lute position. So that worked well, and that puts me also in half position for the upcoming B flat. And there I had a problem again with this 2nd finger bar. So I'm going to try to use lute position at the end as well. Now that I've made my choices on fingerings and bowings, I would play it again 4 or 5 more times to make sure it's ingrained in my memory. Notice I didn't write anything down.
This is not the same thing as learning a piece by heart. Those of you with memory problems, I don't want you to worry about that. It's not learning an entire piece. You still play with the music in front of you. Now, should you do this with every single marking? No, you start by doing it in a few places. Use this process where you can, wherever you're comfortable. If it works for you, try it in more places. Doing it throughout a piece is a great goal, although that's not something I would worry about at first. How will I know that I've finished the memory process? Simple. Set yourself the goal of playing it perfectly 5 times in a row. In my own practicing, I find a place that's tripping me up, and I work out a fingering, and this may take several times. I play it through once or twice, 3 or 4 or 5 times, until I finally work out what's comfortable for me in like 1 or 2 specific fingerings. Then I play it again. Then I play it again. I play it several times until I get it up to the point where I want it, 5 times in a row, done without messing it up. Then I go away from it, play more of the piece, go away and do something else, pet the cat, do my email, come back, and a couple of hours later do it again. And if I can play it 5 times in a row, then that's a victory. But usually I can't. Usually it's 3 times out of 5 I get it. Then the next time I come back to it, maybe 4 times out of 5. Finally, if I've done this enough times, I can do it 5 times in a row confidently, and then I've pretty much put that place in my mind. The bottom line is, if you push your brain a little to learn what you want to do by heart, without ever writing it down, it makes it possible for it to spend the least amount of time in thinking about what it's supposed to do when playing that passage. Then you can focus more comfortably on actually playing it. Oh, and one more thing. You know that saying you've heard all your life about how practice makes perfect? That's kind of a fantasy. Practice helps you get better and better, but it will not guarantee that you will make something perfect. This technique will not guarantee that you will play it perfectly. You just have to do it as much as you can to increase your percentage chance that it will come out the way you want it to. It's a numbers game. You want to make it as close to perfection as you can without obsessing about perfection. Most of you watching this video will not be professionals, and you may well be wondering how it is that you're supposed to remember all these micro memory items when, in the heat of performance, even simple notes tend to fly out the window.
The answer should come as no surprise. Practice that too. Find opportunities to perform in front of other people in any context. The more you perform, the fewer rogue notes you will have.
So the main takeaway is, if you can learn selected fingerings and bowings by memory, learn them by heart, this will allow you to use your brain, it will free it up to play more musically, or even to attack some of those more difficult passages.